Hello, it is Friday the 5th of October, and in this video I'm going to look at the latest Thunderball result and make some predictions for tonight's draw. Now, the latest result was machine 6, set of balls 6, and current trend is now machines 5 and 6 and sets of balls 5, 6, 7 and 8, and I know that because they seem to always use 2 machines and 4 sets of balls and switch between them randomly in each draw, and then after a while they'll change to a different 2 machines and a different 4 sets of balls, but it's usually sets 1 to 4 or sets 5 to 8. But anyway, if we look at a chart for the machine that was used and the set of balls that was used in the last draw, and this is a chart summarising draw history right up until the draw before the last draw. So this shows what the chart looked like before these winning numbers came out. And when we look at this chart for machine 6 and set of ball 6, you can see that number 13 was most overdue for its frequency. So that's a reason to pick number 13. That's a way in which number 13 could have been predicted. And if we look at a chart that summarises the 2 machines and 4 sets of balls that are currently in use at the moment, then we get this chart, and this is where the winning numbers were on that chart. And this is where the Thunderballs are. So you can see number 6 was on the edge of that chart. Now if we look at a chart for just the 2 machines that are in use at the moment and all the sets of balls, and include the main numbers, then we get this. Now personally I would have gone for number 22 for obvious reasons from looking at this chart, but the winning numbers were there amongst the other numbers. Now if we look at just machine 6 on its own, then we get that. If we look at a chart for all machines and all sets of balls, then you can see on this chart that number 30 was the most frequent number. Anyway, if we look at a chart for numbers paired with number 30, then you can see that number 16 was most overdue, and most overdue for its frequency to occur with number 30. Now, if we look at numbers paired with number 16, then there's 30 on the edge of that chart. If we look at numbers paired with 13, then we get that. And if we narrow it down to just machine 6 and look at numbers paired with number 13, then you can see that number 30 was most overdue to occur with number 13. So if we look at a chart for number 30 and machine 6, you can see 13 is most overdue with that. So now also 16, second most overdue, which is quite interesting, isn't it? Because the two most overdue numbers coming out with the most frequent number seems to happen quite a lot. And also when we look at the chart for 16, 21, second most frequent. You can see 37 on the edge of that chart. And so when we narrow it down to the individual machine, you can see the reasons why these numbers were good together with that machine. Interestingly, when we look at machines 5 and 6 together, 21's most frequent with that, with 16, and 30 most overdue with 16. So in this instance we've got the most frequent number and the most overdue number occurring together on this chart. Two of the most outstanding numbers. Now if we look at a chart for 21 and the full draw history, well, as far back as when numbers went up to 39, and if we look at all machines, and if we just look at set of balls number 6, now you can see number 6, Thunderball number 6 on the edge of that chart. 16 most overdue along with these other numbers. You can see 30 most overdue with 16 on that chart as well. And on the chart for 30, 13, one of the most overdue, and we've got to find a way in which 37 was most outstanding. See, when we look at a chart for 37, you can see Thunderball number 6 was most frequent, so was main number 30. But when we look at number 30, and look at number 30, it's not 37 that stands out most, it's 16. And 37 is, let's see where it is. There it is. So if we look at 30 and 6, 30 and Thunderball number 6 together, you should imagine 30 will be one of the most frequent on that chart. It's the most frequent out of the numbers that were drawn, but it's not the most frequent. But you can see 21 on the edge of that chart, 16 most overdue, but not the most outstanding. So if we just look at the current trend, which is machines 5 and 6, and sets of balls 5, 6, 7 and 8, and if we look at a chart for each of these numbers with just these 2 machines and 4 sets of balls, then when we look at 21, Thunderball number 6, most overdue for its frequency, and the chart for 13, see 21's on the edge to occur with 13. When we look at 30, we get this chart, and you can see 16 on the edge of that chart. But the other numbers just amongst the others. And if we look at a chart for 16, and you can see 30 on the edge. Thunderball number 6, one of the 2 most overdue. And finally, number 37, when we look at a chart for that, then we get Thunderball number 6 on the edge of the chart, and the other winning numbers all scattered down there. So that's just about everything I can tell you about the combination that was drawn in the last draw and where those numbers were when they came out in relation to all the other numbers. So you can see that the machine that was used and the set of ball that was used and the combination of numbers were significant in finding which numbers were most outstanding, and those are the ways in which they could have been predicted. So out of all the numbers, only these ones were predictable or within a reasonable range of being predictable. So anyway, now that those numbers have been drawn, let's have a look at the current chart. Well, this is the chart for the current trend, which is machines 5 and 6, sets of balls 5, 6, 7 and 8. And what we find when we look at this chart is that Thunderball number 1 is most overdue for its frequency and most overdue. But for machine 6, it's Thunderball number 7 that's most outstanding. Main number 38 that's most outstanding. And when we look at machine number 5, then the most outstanding Thunderball on that is number 6 again, and main number 8. So when it says that Thunderball number 1 is most outstanding on the chart for machines 5 and 6 combined, then that's not necessarily true, because when the numbers are actually drawn, it's going to be either one machine or the other, in which case Thunderball number 1 isn't the most outstanding for that machine. So just because it's most outstanding on this chart doesn't necessarily mean that it's most outstanding. Anyway, if we look at individual sets of balls, then again we get a different picture for each different set of balls. And as you can see, when we look at set of balls number 6, that might explain why Thunderball number 1 is so outstanding. We've got main number 4 outstanding on that, on the main number side. When we look at set of balls 7 with those two machines, then it's 14 most overdue and Thunderball 11 most overdue. And finally, set of balls number 8. The chart for that one. Got number 20 most overdue for its frequency, and Thunderball number 6 most overdue, but Thunderball number 8 most overdue for its frequency. So you can see how different the chart looks for each machine and each set of balls, and when the numbers are actually drawn, it'll be one of these two machines and one of these 4 sets of balls. So if we look at each different possibility, then for each different possible outcome we get a completely different chart. I'm just going to have to pause. Right, anyway, these are the numbers that I predicted in the last draw, and I didn't win anything. Oh my god. Right, so right, I'll do a chart for each set of balls and machine combination. So you can see which numbers are most outstanding on each one. And if there's anything that's like really outstanding on any of these, then it would probably be a good idea to go with it, whatever's like really most outstanding. So if you spot anything, or if you try to predict which machine and set of balls combination it's going to be, then these are the charts that you need to look at for each one. So I've done all of them except machine 6, set of balls 7. See, with that one I'd go for main number 16, Thunderball 7. You can see that's the one that was used in the last draw. Surprised number 18 didn't come out, so it's very overdue for that machine and set of balls combination. And finally, machine 6, set of balls 5. That's what the chart looks like for that one. Now for the Thunderballs, I'm just going to look at all machines, all sets of balls and the full draw history, and ignore the main numbers. See what the chart for the Thunderballs looks like at the moment. So this is the big picture. This is the biggest chart for the Thunderballs, and you can see most overdue and most overdue for its frequency is Thunderball number 8. So I'm going to pick that one again. And also, when we look at the main numbers since they went up to 39, all machines and sets of balls, then we get this chart. So the full chart for the main numbers currently looks like this, and you can see that number 22 is clearly the most outstanding, most overdue and most overdue for its frequency. So that's my reason for picking number 22. Now the other numbers that I'm picking, I'm just going to write them all on so you can see where they are. Right, this is where they are. So they're quite evenly distributed. And if you notice, I picked one from this dense region. Number 3 is one. And the reasons why I picked these numbers are because, see, number 12 most outstanding with number 22. You can see 30 on the edge of the chart. 22. See, that's the chart for 12. So you can see why they're good together. And there's number 3. And the reason why I picked 28 most overdue for its frequency, number 3. Got 30 on the edge of that chart. And when we look at the Thunderballs, number 8 most overdue, and most overdue for its frequency, and also most frequent with 28. So you can see why I picked that one. See, what I've done is I've chosen numbers that sort of stand out together, if you know what I mean. These are numbers that look like they are sort of due to occur together at some time soon. So I'm going to stick with this combination, even though 30 come out in the last draw. This is the combination that I'm going to put on for tonight's draw. And if they don't come out in tonight's draw, I might just continue to use the same combination. So this is my favourite numbers at the moment. I've just put them on. And that concludes this video. So look out for the next one, and bye for now.